Well, boys, I done messed up. Look at the giant hole. This is the Holley oil pan. I can't believe that happened. Bigger than my fist. Oh, man. What is going on, my YouTube people? I am Tim. This is Misfit Manufacturing, and today we're gonna tackle the fuel system as best as we can. So first off, we had a little accident happen and the car had to go down. I got it fixed pretty quickly, but it was pretty much catastrophic and it cost me. So there's that. Let me give you a little backstory. Jacking the car up by the subframe, as everybody usually does sometimes, you know, just jack it up by the subframe. Go under the car. I can't fit. Come back out of the car. Jack it up a little more. The car slips off the subframe and the jack jams itself into the oil pan. The oil pan had a giant hole in it and I had to get it replaced. That was a brand new Holley pan. Luckily, that was all that was damaged. The windage tray seems to be untouched. Everything else seems to be okay, but I had to pull the motor, pull the trans, I had to pull the front clip, the radiator. It just was a mess. So that's what I did last week. I'm gonna show you the carnage, but today we're gonna try to tackle this fuel system. Real quick, I'm just gonna show you the damage that it did. I actually can't believe it. Look at the giant hole. This is the Holley oil pan. I can't believe that happened. It literally smashed into it, bigger than my fist. Oh, man. Anyways, I was pretty shook because I had just went underneath there and come back out. And I wasn't ready to put it on jack stands yet because I didn't know if it was enough at that right height. Obviously, it wasn't, so boom, there we go. I do have the oil cooler routed. I made these cool little mounts. It's out of aluminum. This is a Grassroots Motorsports LS1. It's like a prefabbed, like lines are already made and everything goes down to a little dealing down in there. That's all fabbed up. We have our crossover. I already went ahead and did that. And then I actually mounted the AccuSump. I mounted it and the fuel pressure regulator. So the AccuSump is pretty much mounted and good to go. I still have to run the lines. I'm waiting on 2 fittings because when you talk about an AccuSump and what has to happen, it'll look something crazy like this. This is a check valve. This will come from the cooler. This will actually come from the AccuSump. This piece right here will come from the AccuSump. It'll come down in here when it needs to drop an oil pressure, and it will shoot into the motor instead of going into the oil cooler. This is a check valve, so that should prevent motor oil from going back this way. So that's done. Waiting on 2 more fittings. I got to get this 90 here and a 90 over there. I think that's it. That's the updates. Oil cooler, we got it all mounted up. New oil pan. Man, I can't believe that even happened. So needless to say, I won't be doing that again. Oh, I got a throttle cable as well, rigged up. I don't like how it feels, so we may be changing that out. The AccuSump is pretty much ready to go. I mounted this overflow tank from Canton. We're moving along, all right? Making some progress. I still don't know what I'm gonna do here. I want to run this -4 for my steam port set up to this tube, but I need to make this come to like, I don't know if they even make anything that'll route this to this. That's what I need that to be clarified. If you know of a solution on this is the stock BMW elbow with a bleeder screw. So if you guys know anything, just let me know down below in the comments. Maybe we can figure something out. But what we came here for was the fuel system. The fuel system. I don't know if you guys can see this, but last video, I mean, it came out, it looks okay on camera, but in person, it's so much better. Dropped the tank. This is busted. So the fuel system. I thought I had mentioned before, I'm going to run this Deatchwerks 3.5 liter surge tank, and I'm gonna pull it out. I haven't mounted it yet. I'm gonna run this surge tank. I only have one 350 pump in there right now. I'm gonna run this surge tank. I've already mounted it up on these little L brackets, literally from Walmart. These L brackets. They're pretty sturdy. For now, this is how I'm gonna run it in the car. I have a Deatchwerks fuel pressure regulator and I have a Deatchwerks injectors. We also have one of these 110 fuel filters. I also have one of these bad boys. I gotta get this knocked out too. So this is going to come from the tank. Here's the plan, all right? Tank, I'm gonna use stock tank. Stock tank, I'm gonna put 2 -8 AN lines. I'm gonna drill this out and drill this out. So this will be the feed and this will be the return. So I'll put 2 -8s on there on feed and return. So the feed is actually gonna come out, go into this fuel filter, because I want all that crud and junk to be removed. before it goes into the surge tank. The surge tank's probably going to be mounted somewhere in the middle there. And then inside the surge tank, they actually have it all bolted down. But inside of the surge tank, there's actually another filter that goes inside of there. So today's progress is to get this mounted, this figured out, my lines run from the fuel rails. I've already pulled all the old fuel lines, so I should be able to go right down in there from the fuel. So I have this set up. I have this little like 180 that's going to go to the feed, and this is going to be the return straight down. So from surge tank, it's going to come into this line here, route, over, back over into the fuel pressure regulator, and then down and out. Should be pretty simple enough. Everything's kind of mounted already. I have to run a bunch of lines. I have some bulkheads for this. It should look pretty snazzy. Let me mount this bad boy. I'm going to use some nut certs, mount this. Another component that I don't think I talked to you guys about was that I'm going to run an E45 sensor on this kit, or on my fuel system, and I'm going to run this Motion Raceworks E85 sensor like holder. So this is like a -10 inlet, but it's dual channel. So when you put in your sensor in here, it actually has another channel that goes on this other side. So there's no actual restriction, so I can put this on my feed line. I really want to run this on the feed line in case, like, God forbid anything else happens. I think it'll be a little bit more reliable. That's the reason that they made these dual channel E85 sensor holders or mounts. So this is something that I think will benefit us in the future in case we take the car on longer runs and I can just pick up regular gas. I also got all PTFE lines. We're going to run all these nice vibrant bulkhead fittings. All the vibrant stuff. Should be cool. Should work. I hope I have enough. I feel like I've spent enough money on vibrant products that it should all be here. Oh, look what else is in here. We're going to run a Part Shop Max carrier bearing. It's all billet. I'm going to attempt to use the stock drive shaft for ZF and get away with this. If this does not work, we'll just go a one piece. But I want to keep the Guibo. I'll run this, and hopefully we don't break things. But apparently breaking things is my middle name. I think I've come up with a plan that's going to work for me. I don't know if it's the best plan, but right now, I just need to freaking start. Alrighty, so this is not mounted yet, but I have all of the bulkheads pretty much mounted and how they're gonna go. I made a couple extra holes back there. It looked like it was gonna run into the upper control arm on one of them, and I didn't like how it was, so I moved it. These are angled towards these two. That one that's straight right here, that's gonna be the direct feed for the fuel pump, and that one seems pretty good. So this is how this is going to go. This right one here is going to go, is our feed from our original gas tank feed. The middle one's going to be returned from the fuel pressure regulator. This one right here is going to be a return to the factory fuel, or the factory tank. And then that's going to be our, so we got lots of cool things going on. I have to get more fittings. Yay, and look at my face. I'm gonna tell you, it was a pain in the butt to get all that in there, and now I'm kind of like glad that it's over with, that majority of that portion of it. But we are here. I have to mount the surge tank. Once I mount the surge tank, and then I can run lines. I know I need more fittings tomorrow. I'm gonna mount the surge tank. Well, boys, I done messed up. I got myself back here, and I can't get out. Oh boy, update. I'm using M8 nut certs to actually install this into the sheet metal. And it's a pretty simple process if you haven't never used nut certs. Basically, you just drill a hole, you put in these little brass sleeves, and then you squeeze this together, and it actually pinches the sheet metal and makes it nice and firm inside of there. So you can put a through bolt without actually having a bolt. That's what I'm going to use to attach this surge tank to the actual chassis. But in order for me to attach it to the chassis, I had to drill these holes. In order for me to drill these holes, I couldn't do it from the trunk. I actually had to get in here, and now I feel pretty claustrophobic. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then this should be mounted. That's gonna be exciting, because after that's mounted, I just have to plumb everything. That's the exciting part. I have to go to this place in Hudson tomorrow. It's called Profab. They have a whole selection of more fittings and fittings. I need a lot more. I probably spent $800 on just fittings alone, but I need more.